Hi, my name is Richard Crawford, host of the Supply and Demand Show, an enlightening webcast show where we delve into the dynamic world of the global supply chain and where we navigate through the complexities, disruptions and innovations that shape this vital network of interconnected businesses. From sourcing raw materials to delivering finished products, we'll uncover the challenges that arise at each stage and explore the strategies for optimizing efficiency and sustainability. And each week, we'll highlight and discuss a specific supply chain topic. And of course, I'm joined each week by my co-host and CEO of the Atlas Network and author of the Supply Chain Ups and Downs, Mr. Kareem Kafuri. How are you, buddy?
Hey, Richard, how you doing? I'm so excited to be with you and for this amazing show we have today, right?
Very, very excited. Today's topic. What are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about brick and mortar. Is it trending up? Is it trending down?
Man, you know, this is an amazing topic, and it's really in a state of flux. Unfortunately, it's on a downward cycle for sure. And we see that because, you know, the second largest company in the world, Amazon, continues to grow 10 to 12% per year. In 2024, they were $637 billion. Wow. In 2023, they were about $570 billion. And, you know, Newsweek is stating that in 2025, we could have as much of as a 200 to 300% decline in brick and mortar stores. And, you know, there's a lot of reasons for that. There's significant reasons. I mean, you know, there's the rise of e-commerce that continues. There's consumer preferences that are changing. There's still, you know, some economic factors in play and even some kind of mechanisms that are involved with the pandemic effect, where people still have just changed the way that they want to shop and the way that they want to buy. So I can definitely see that, you know, we're going to have some shifts and changes, and that the brick and mortar experience and the days in the mall, you know, may be on the way out.
But isn't that a teenage rite of passage, days in the mall?
It absolutely is. And there's been so many times where I've told my kids or my son, hey, just go to the mall already and just, you know, hang out and have fun. But they're like, why? We're not shopping. Exactly. We're not buying anything. So why are we going over there? But you're right.
Yeah. All right. So today's a very special show. Right. We're both very excited about this show. And normally when I introduce a guest on the show, I give a brief resume and highlight some of the major achievements. But today I'm not going to do that because we just wouldn't have enough time in the show to list all of his incredible achievements. And his name speaks for itself. Daymond John, a very, very warm welcome to the Supply and Demand Show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you on here. And you know what? I would be amiss. I am going to take a minute here just to list a few of your major accomplishments. You've been on 16 seasons of the hit show Shark Tank. You've started and grew the brand Fubu into an international and multi-billion-dollar brand. And you've worked with thousands of companies and entrepreneurs, helping them develop into successful businesses. And I actually think you and Kareem have worked together a few times, right?
I believe so, yeah. We work with so many people, but Kareem is now we're working together for sure. Yeah. I'm just thinking about it. Way in the past, have we probably have. We definitely have shared the same factory line, whether we knew it or not.
Yeah, and the reality of it is too, Ricky, is that, you know, Daymond is also known as the People Shark, and he works with so many different groups, providing mentorship and providing, you know, speaking. He's speaking on so many stages and really just, you know, imparting his very critical wisdom to thousands and thousands of business people. And, you know, I'm so honored to be working with Daymond in the capacities where we can, and him offering me mentorship and branding guidance and things of that nature. And honestly, we're just so honored and proud to have him on this show today. It's really,
Kareem, that's it. I'm firing my publicist. Firing him. He's out. He's out of here. Hit the road, baby. Get on the cheese line.
Well, look, Daymond, we were just chatting about today's topic a little bit, and we were talking about brick and mortar. We saw the headline a few days ago about Forever 21, which is not forever anymore. But, you know, brick and mortar, is it still good? Is it trending upwards? Is it trending downward? Where are we going with it? From your point of view, what are you seeing with brick and mortar?
I always say you have to create an experience in brick and mortar these days. Before it was a different experience. It was bringing something to you. Now you can get something to you within 24 hours or less. I say brick and mortar has to change, and the ones who do change is show you an experience. If you don't, if you're selling a bunch of goods in your brick and mortar and you're just selling goods, well, then you're a me too. So you have to always ask yourself in any business, why me, why now, why this? Now, if you have brick and mortar in the airport, you're great.
Yep. Yeah.
You get 30% more. You can't get Amazon in the airport. You got a high level traveler. They can't bring stuff into the airport and they're stuck, right? So they have to buy it to consume. If you're selling apparel in a brick and mortar store, well, you better have a whole bunch of cameras that are zooming live, and I can plug in my Instagram, my TikTok shop, my my whatnot, and I can walk down this runway that you have there, and then I can tell anybody that I'm gonna, after I buy or purchase these goods, that you can also go on and hit my link and get an affiliate. You can get them from me because I'm the ultimate shopper and I'm gonna show you everything. So, are you creating an experience there?
Yeah.
I do believe that really connecting those dots is critical because look at Amazon. I mean, Amazon is the second biggest company in the United States, and they just now increased their revenues up to $637 billion. That's a 12% increase over the previous year. And there's a reason for that. Consumer, buying habits have changed and have shifted. So if you want to bring them back to the mall, and you want to bring them back to those stores, you got to make it really compelling.
You're not going to bring them back to the mall because malls are all going to turn into, as we are a country that are looking for more housing, a mall's going to have a pool in the middle of it and a longevity center and a whole bunch of people living there because they're going to turn them into places that we dwell.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe we combine the aging nation with the old malls and make them all homes, assisted living homes.
That's exactly what's going to happen. That's 100%. They have all the facilities there. They have everything you need. They have parking. True. They have they have everything. They're close to highways. That's exactly what's happening.
Well, look, Kareem, should we get into our hot seat segment?
Why not? Damon's here. We might as well go for it.
He's very often under the spotlight, high pressure stuff, but I'm not sure anything is high pressure as our hot seat segment. So basically, Daymond, 3 questions, answer them as close to 5 minutes total as possible. We've had previous guests on who've got within seconds of 5 minutes, whether it's over or below. But I think they cheated. I think
you said 3 questions.
3 questions.
Okay.
Very short questions, and in your field, you should have the answers for them, no problem. But here we go. I'm going to start the stopwatch now. All right, Daymond. So, can you explain what exactly is licensing and how is it used?
Licensing is basically leasing out your intellectual property or taking a lease of somebody's intellectual property. I'll give you an example. In FUBU, we made jeans and T-shirts, but we didn't make ladies' boots, bags, fragrance, or anything else. So what would happen is a company would say, "Hey, I want to license the FUBU product for shoes, and I project that I'll do 1 million the first year, 2 million the second year, and 3 million the third year. I will give you 10% off of what I am going to, gross, and I'm going to give you an advance of $200,000, and I'm going to, over those 3 years, sell these goods with your approval that I can sell them at this price or in these locations, and you're going to advertise market, I'm going to advertise market, and at the end of the day, if I hit all the criteria that I have set in the 3 years, then I have an automatic renewal to do it for 2 or 3 more years. The intellectual property is still mine. In the event that they do not hit those markers, or we decide that we don't want to continue business mutually, they give it back and they expand my brand. So, somebody like a Disney has thousands of licenses. And so that's exactly what licensing is.
Very cool.
That's very good. Daymond, my questions for you is the following. In the early days of FUBU and supply chain, you obviously were working, with very little. You were then starting things up and then finding the right factories and suppliers and things of that nature. I mean, what are the biggest things that entrepreneurs really need to pay attention to when they are working within the supply chain?
Well, you have to pay attention to, of course, the cost of goods, where it's being made, and how much does it cost to actually manufacture, and more importantly, bring it in, and how you can get it in a timely and a very reliable way. Just making something overseas or even in domestically for $20 doesn't mean it's $20 by the time it hits your distribution center or wherever you're going to send it. And you have to make sure that this is going to be continuous, because you're part of the supply chain at the end of the day. So if you're getting your goods in 30 days later at 20% more, well, then you're going to either have to eat the cost of it, but it doesn't even mean that the end buyer or user is going to want it 30 days later. So those are all the things. And of course, quality control is important too. When it does come to you, how do you know, that all the things that you wanted, you needed in it, for whether compliance or whether it is purely the DNA of the product is there. So there's various different things. I would say it's all about, pricing, delivery, and quality.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are very, very critical points, and every entrepreneur needs to focus in on making sure that pencil is sharpened, and they're really making sure that they're having the quality that they need. Otherwise, you can't really manufacture, you can't sell, and you can't have longevity. So that's super critical and important for supply chain. Here's the third question that I got for you here, and I guess we're getting closer in the time. You've been the CEO for many different companies and organizations. You've worked with many different CEOs. I mean, what's one thing that you've learned about being a CEO that just you can't really read in a book and is just experiential in your experience and with working with so many different companies and people?
No, there's several different things. Number one is every single problem you solve, you create another problem. But that goes to the overall, theory of a CEO. A CEO and a founder's real job is to have the overall big vision and then spend the rest of their life clearing up the bottlenecks. And that all becomes a people issue, because there's no such thing as throwing people at a problem. You have to solve the problem.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's right. How are we doing on time, Richard?
Well,
how's he doing?
You have just about a half a minute left, Daymond, if you want to add one last statement.
I knocked out all three. I would say, other than that, the most important thing besides people will be funding. We're all in this for business, and it's all about the dollars. So you have to watch your numbers, because, at the end of the day, you have to make sure you have a very healthy and robust company. And the people that work for you, they got to get paid. And if they don't get paid, you got a lot of problems going on in the company. You got inconsistency, and then you're back to working back at Red Lobster.
Well, we'll stop right there. The consummate professional. I'll tell you this, you're pretty damn close. You're only a couple of seconds under.
There we go.
Perfect.
We may have a new leader here in the bullpen.
That's pretty good.
So we have this next segment here, Daymond, that we do often on the show. It's a new segment for 2025, and it's called The Last Drop. If you could have a coffee with anyone, alive or dead, who would it be, and what would be the reason why?
Well, we can't put the first person in, because the first person is going to be Jesus, right? I think I would probably have it with somebody like a Genghis Khan or somebody like that, somebody who took over 25% of the world by the age of 30 years old, and moved engineers and various other people through different parts of the world to expand the world knowledge, and would create his battles in his mind, and be prepared for battle for someplace else, prepare for it 5 to 10 years earlier, and start putting things in place, such as moving rocks and various other things in a place where he changes the direction of the river flowing. So when they come there in 5-6 years, they're not used to fighting in those terms, or the way they used to fight whoever the opposing person is. So
You know, it's funny. You and I have a similar person. I said Alexander the Great for exactly the same reasons.
Yeah.
That, you know, you have this world full of obstacles and you see no obstacles. You're like, let me just figure out how to move the river. Like you said, let me figure out how to basically go over or under or build something new when it doesn't even exist. So
he would be definitely in the top. Alexander will be in the top 3 as well.
Going back to your first choice of Jesus, he could go anywhere and just grab the water and turn it into coffee.
Exactly.
Lifelong supply of coffee.
Miracles.
And there's no supply chain there except the water, so that's pretty good.
That's right.
Well, just to wrap it up, Daymond, why don't you tell our audience something exciting that you have going on right now?
I'm really excited about longevity. I'm excited about longevity and biohacking. So I'm really getting heavy into that space for all the right reasons, to be around here, to walk my 3 little girls down the aisle, but to more importantly share with people the importance of how hard we all work, and that when we are of service to so many others, we need to be of service to ourselves. And the world is moving so fast that, as Kareem could say, with all this new technology, listen, I got to tell you, if you can live the next 5 to 10 years, man, you're going to be able to live to about 110, 120 healthy. And so, we need more people like Kareem, manufacturing and delivering, these goods and these systems that are going to help us, such as red beds and cold plunges and all this kind of stuff. So, yeah, that's what I'm excited about, man, and when you feel like, listen, at the end of the day, the Golden Girls were 40 years old, 45 years old. So I'm 15 years older than the Golden Girls. So, and I'm feeling really good. So
it's so crazy when I see those memes. Kareem, how can people get a hold of you, buddy?
Yeah, so basically it would be theatlasnetwork.com for anybody who needs any global supply chain solutions. And for any of my thought leadership and any of the other kinds of work that I'm doing, it would just be at kareemkafoury.com. Very honored and proud again to have Daymond John here on the show with us today. I mean, what a treat. And, look forward to a lot of good, opportunities and unique places where Daymond and I may be working together in the future for sure.
Kareem, I've never asked you this. If I was somebody and I already had a supply chain and I thought I had everything figured out, but I just want to have a conversation with you, could I do that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's a good question. I mean, on kareemkafoury.com, we have the ability for people to get in touch for consulting and do consults where we work with their businesses and help them to really develop and grow and look at any kind of disruptions or opportunities that they may not be taking advantage of. And
you can help me with my current supply chain, not I gotta work with some of your people. And I know you work with 2,000 factories and or suppliers, but if I had mine, I say, hey, can you get me to find a way to save 5%, which is a massive amount at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that's a big part of our business, honestly, the problem solving, where we connect into existing supply chains that have issues, have disruptions, and we work hand in hand with the management teams to see how it can be improved. And sometimes it's simple things. It's a matter of communication. It's a matter of transparency. It's a matter of cost engineering, using a different material that they may or may not be aware of. There's so many different ways that we can plug in to help. And it's not always even just about necessarily cost savings. It could be about labor savings. It could be about time, efficiency, quality control improvements. There's so many different ways that the supply chain can be enhanced. And that all starts with a dialogue. So absolutely. I mean, anybody who ever needs any help with that can come to kareemkafoury.com or theatlasnetwork.com, and we can plug in and help them for sure.
Excellent.
Perfect. Well, again, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching and listening to the show. And just a reminder that each week we'll have a very special guest on to continue our conversation in the fascinating world of the global supply chain. And don't forget to follow our LinkedIn and YouTube pages at The Supply and Demand Show. Daymond, again, huge thank you, and we'll see everybody soon.